everyone!
Hello!
Welcome to the vlog of this month, which will be a convention vlog. And today we're at the Magna Science and Adventure Centre for the Horror Con. It is the first one in the UK, I believe, that has been made a big deal out of. So we're looking forward to it. We are in the town of Sheffield today, just on the borderline. So we're going to go queue and wait our entry to go meet many a horror person. Top person being Tom Savini. That is going to be who we are longing to meet today.
Yes.
Many other things will be going on inside. The actual building itself, we're just walking around. What's your opinion so far of this building, Matt?
It's strange. We were saying it's very industrial, it's very far from the sea. It reminds us of the Germany Horror Con we went to, but it's kind of nicer there and there, but don't look there.
Yeah, just have a look here at this crazy
science wasteland.
These bits here is like they've added them on afterwards to be like, oh look, it's science, it's adventure, but this up here, like a really rusted observation tower, and they've tried to cover it up with, look, it's got a kids play area. Oh.
So just if you look there, you're good, but just don't look over there.
So we'll see what the building's like inside momentarily when we can go in, but till then, Tom Savini footage and other horrific delights await us. We're investigating this awesome, I don't know what it is. What would you say it is, Maddie?
It's like a giant collective chute type industrial thing.
Huge bottom to it. Goes all the way up, very rusted. Look, there's a big holy at the bottom. Hello, hello, hello.
In true horror movie fashion, we could later on leave there and try and climb up into the building.
We should
see us again.
Split up, and it'll be found footage, camera footage. On the queue now. We're about the middle way. Just a little shot of the queue in front. And it goes way past about there. So. A few more minutes and we'll all be shuffling on in. We're waiting regular entrance right now, and shortly to be going in now. Jason behind us, can you see? We're in the right place. We're in the big hall. That's what it's called, right? Big hall.
I think big hall.
Yes, which is where the main signing area is, and the queue is building. From what I can tell, they're all at the front, and you all queue together, and then go to each individual person. So. So when we get closer, do a bit more luggage when we get around the front there. So far it's pretty cramped in here, and it's only early bird so far. Don't know what it's going to be like when everyone enters. Definitely the best. Alright, so we're in the next part of the queue. We're moving our way around now. Queue's leading around here. Should go around. All the actual entertaining guests are here. So Tom Savini is just in between there. I'll see him. I'll zoom in. There we go. I can see him. So it'll be our turn in a minute. I wanted to ask as well about what you thought about Rick Baker retiring last month. What your thoughts on that were, perhaps?
And it was shot in Louisiana, wasn't even fucking Texas. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
They won that doing in Bulgaria.
Right.
It's even further away. I would go to Bulgaria.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Let's not start a trend with these. Yes.
Both just met Tom Savini. He was an extreme gentleman, would you say?
Very busy, but keeping it very
Yeah,
professional.
he's taken time with everybody, but obviously the line is building here, as you can see. Horrendously planned out the way that it is. It's just, there's one big long line, and you go to all of them. Just basically, they're for all of them. There's no single line for anybody.
Just teething issue, you know,
Yeah.
it's first time round, so.
So, basically, you saw I got him to do a little doodle, and he doodled a Walt Disney Mickey Mouse for me, which was awesome. And I did ask, but I asked him again afterwards what he thought about Rick Baker retiring, and he said, I don't think he's going to retire. Next time there's a werewolf movie, he'll be on it straight away. So I kind of agree with that. So show us, Maddie, what you got.
I have
there.
a signature in there.
Yes, inside the mask there. Man behind the mask. And that is because he did play one of the Jasons uncredited.
Uncredited for part 4 in fact recently.
Yep.
He killed the banana hitchhiker, which is kind of cool.
Which is awesome. So that was the main objective of today, and we're going to go look around at all the stalls and go to some talks, hopefully.
But I think that the two people, that's George Romero and Dwayne Jones, and I'll tell you why. I think Dwayne Jones had more colors to play as an actor than any other actor in that film. I think he was in command of that role and that character, and I think he didn't have to steal the film, it was just written there for him, right? But if you look at the credits, you won't see Dwayne Jones starring Dwayne Jones on it, and I hate that, so I always mention that. And I always give out a shout to Dwayne Jones because I think he was a pioneer, and I think he's responsible for so much of what World War Z, Walking Dead, the guy that made the $5,000 zombie movie in his basement. You know, I mean, he's responsible for all this craze, and I think he's a part of it. He contributed to it, and I think the entire world. When wait, maybe I'm talking to a young audience. You know, Night of the Living Dead. Mm-hmm. Everybody, right? Okay. When. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, let's come to this.
Have a moment, kids.
I told you don't let me do this. Okay. The moment that the end, sunrise, the police are coming, the military, they're coming towards the cabin, or that little farmhouse. He's saved. He survived this carnage. He's made it. Our hero has made it. And he opens the door, and pow, they shoot him. And I think the entire world, because it was distributed everywhere, but I think everyone who watched that film worldwide took a huge gasp of regret that this guy didn't make it. So, to Dwayne Jones,
Dwayne Jones.
Okay. When there's no more room in hell,
dead shall walk the earth.
Before we ask.
Right.
That's nice. Alison saw that.
Tom Savini in Sheffield.
Okay. Can you understand us? I mean, if it's, I don't know how far you have to hold the mic away, but can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Keep it fairly close.
Close? Okay.
I want to take you back to when you were a kid, and in the past...
What is this, therapy?
It's therapy. You've been quoted in the past, and you've used 3 names as inspirations when you were a kid. One was Dick Smith,
Yeah.
One was Lon Chaney, and one was James Cagney, of all people.
Well, only because James Cagney played Lon Chaney in Man of a Thousand Faces.
Right.
I thought he was Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
Until Famous Monsters magazine showed me the real pictures of Lon Chaney, you know, yeah. I have a son named Lon. I named him after Lon Chaney.
So just for those of us who are slightly younger than you, but not much younger than you, what was...
I think mostly everybody is a lot younger than me.
What was the fascination with the movie The Man of a Thousand Faces, and who was Lon Chaney, for those of us that might not know?
Can I see a raise of hands who knows who Lon Chaney is? Well, this is great, because this would not happen in America. I mean, even students that come to my school, they don't know who Boris Karloff is, a lot of them.
What?
You know, and like if you're going to be a makeup artist, do some research on some of the greatest makeups ever created, and you'll find out who Boris Karloff is, But I don't know, I saw that movie and it wasn't like, why didn't I just see that movie and then, move on to the next movie? That movie changed my life. Before that movie, I thought Frankenstein, the Wolfman, I thought they were real. I did. I wish I could see a movie again through those eyes, the eyes of that kid. Because when you get involved in movies, the magic that made you want to be involved with movies is killed forever. A new magic takes its place, the magic of creativity. But I would love to see a movie again through those eyes, the eyes that believed everything was real.
You've also been quoted as well that a lot of your interest and the extension of your interest in special effects and makeup came from the period that you spent in the armed forces and you're a combat photographer. How did that fit?
No, I started when I was 11 with makeup.
Way before that?
Way before that. Vietnam was just a lesson in anatomy. That's why I have my reputation for realism, because I'm the only makeup artist that has seen the real thing. I was a combat photographer in Vietnam, and that kind of saved me psychologically, because I would look through the camera at horrible stuff and think, how would I create that? So if my fake stuff didn't give me the same feeling the real stuff gave me, the fake stuff wasn't real enough. Do you know what I mean? So that's why my stuff is always anatomically correct. I get pictures from kids, they send me, they glued a chunk of rubber to the head and they poured blood over it, and it's on a letterhead. Joe Blow's Special Makeup Effects Studio. He knows nothing, about makeup effects. But it's not anatomically correct, of course. Galen's body falling away from the helicopter. Yeah. I posted those pictures on my Facebook profile if you want to go see. So since we didn't kill Galen Ross, I had this head of Galen Ross to do something with, okay? So I put an Afro hairdo on it and colored her African American and blew it apart with a shotgun. And that happens in the first couple of minutes of the film. That's Galen Ross's head that explodes. And that's a real shotgun blast. We had a guy on the set, a visual effects, mechanical effects guy, who I was supposed to drive a motorcycle. I did drive a motorcycle through a storefront window. That's actually me doing that stunt. And the mechanical effects guy created the glass on the floor of the mall, and then breakaway glass, and lifted it up to be the window. That glass was about 2.5 inches thick, okay? And it's a good thing I was on a motorcycle, or it wouldn't have broken, George Romero kept a slab of the glass in his office. He said, look at this breakaway glass. And he would smash it on the desk, and nothing would happen to it, okay? So this guy, the mechanical effects guy, who they eventually fired because on press night he was running down the halls of the hotel in his underwear firing a machine gun, okay? So he was to explode the head from within with primer cord or something, okay? And when he did it, the head just went, it just expanded and that was it. I said, give me that goddamn shotgun, and blew it off, so that worked. Then he went on to do Scanners, the movie, okay? And that's how he did that head explosion, with a shotgun from behind, no longer, trying to explode. A collective dislike of CGI, because if you're an old timer like us, when you watched Rick Baker's American Werewolf, that happened right in front of you. That transformation happened right in front of you. All my stuff in movies happened right in front of you. With CGI, you have to pretend it's happening. And that's, people just don't want to make that effort, it seems, Like when I saw Jurassic Park, I was really pissed off because all I kept thinking about, I didn't see dinosaurs. I kept thinking of people in front of a computer creating them. And that made me mad. That I had to change my mindset. And that's what I did. I said to myself, next time I see this movie, no matter what I see in the foreground and the background, it's all going to really be there. And it was a great movie, but I had to make that mindset. I had to pretend it was there. Nowadays, you know, when the Evil Dead remake came out, they were bragging that there's no CGI, it's all practical. J.J. Abrams is building puppets for Star Wars. So practical effects seems to be coming back, you know, and that's where the love is. I mean, you know, especially for us, this older generation, you know. And I agree. I'd rather see it happening right in front of me. I wish I had CGI as a tool when I was doing stuff, perhaps, to hide an edge or solve a problem, you know. But that's the best effects today, makeup effects, the ones that are a combination of the practical stuff with some, you know, CGI enhancement.
Then he said, he got this worried look and said, well, can you do it? And I said, oh, sure, it'd be easy to do. And he goes, okay, you got the part. And then later, a week or two later, when we were signing our contracts, we had they called a contract party where everybody met to get fitted for their costumes and figure out what they're going to do with their hair and all of that stuff. And we're actually given our scripts. When Toby gave me my script, or actually when I signed the contract and handed him the contract back, he said, you know, when you came for the interview, I knew I wanted to cast you. And I said, oh, why? You know, thinking there must be a great answer. And he goes, well, because you filled the door. And I realized the only reason he cast me was I was the biggest person who tried out for the part, and that he had no expectations for talent, for acting. He just wanted the biggest piece of meat who could lumber around on the set. So I knew, because I'd read the script, that he wore 3 different faces, but I had no idea. I didn't even know if the mask would fit, which they did. Bob Burns, the genius art director on this movie, made those masks, and I talked to, when I was doing the book, I talked to Mary Church, who was script coordinator, his assistant on special effects, stunt woman, and his girlfriend. And she said that he didn't know what he was going to do, and he experimented a long time trying to figure out how to create this. And what he finally did was he would take casts of faces. So there are a lot of crew members or people involved some way with the production who he cast their faces. In fact, some of the masks that didn't work got used in other parts. You know, in the dinner scene, there's a light bulb hanging above the table, and the shade for that light bulb is 2 masks. It's 2 faces. One of them being the producer, Jay Parsley, who thought it was the funniest thing in the world that he was one of the victims that didn't get warned, but there he is. So what he did was he took made these casts. So he took the negative of the cast, the direct cast of the face, and he found the best thing to use was a very thin fiberglass insulation. So he laid that in, and then laid in a layer of latex, liquid latex, and patted it all down so that the very thin layer of insulation collapsed. But it gave a matrix to essentially hold this latex together. And then he let that harden up, and then he did it again, and he ended up painting in 3, I think that he said the 3 layers of latex created the face. You know, that was enough to make the thing hold together. And it was very thin because he wanted it to look like skin. And then he aged it, and I think he aged it in a microwave. And the problem with it was it looked great because it looked like peeled skin because it was so thin. The problem was it became fragile as time went by. And I had to be very careful. They wouldn't take the mask off of me unless it was a 5-minute break, and every break is 5 minutes, even if it's an hour.
Hi everyone! So the last time that you saw, a lot of screaming going on, you saw was we were in the Q&A session, which weren't they great?
They were good. It was actually the longest we've spent in panel rooms, I think.
Definitely, and with three legends, I was just overwhelmed completely by Tom Savini, and as I caught on camera, he cracked a bullwhip. That's not something you see every day, is it? The literal noise that it makes. Yeah, just like that. So I think we have accomplished all today. It was mainly to come see Tom Savini. What an amazing person, gentleman, inspiring to me for sure. Yes, very positive. An excellent outlook on life. I wish that he was my teacher because he has a school of teachings, and if only I could go there. He just seems like such an awesome guy to learn from. So yes, I think that's going to be the end of our day today. I hope you've enjoyed this amazing building. Thank you, Magna, for putting this show on, because it really was. It's like being on the set, of Red Dwarf or something like that. It's crazy. But thank you for joining us. We will be going to LFCC next weekend, so another vlog will follow, but we'll be going on Friday where it's not as busy because Saturday was just silly last year. Just silliness was had. So this year is going to probably be even worse because of the Michael J. Fox £400 ticket thing.
We're just going to be in and out like autographed Black Ops.
Yes, we will. You won't even see us. You ain't seen me, right? So till then, everybody, hope you enjoyed this weekend, and bye from us. Bye-bye.